Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm Dr. Scott Keller.
Y me llamo Anabela Cabello.
Thank you for joining us. In our last video, we talked a lot about astrology and Ayurveda and why it was a credible science and something we can rely on. We talked a little bit about the heavily weighted celestial objects in the universe and how they imprint their gravitational pull on all our neurological tissues and create all our likes and dislikes and tendencies. Even we can predict our health concerns, and most of all, for tonight's purpose of tonight's video, we're going to talk about how those things affect our relationships in love and romance.
Yes, astrology and Ayurveda are the oldest and most accurate forms of medical diagnosis. Well, ironically, the same is true when using these two disciplines for developing cohesive relationship. And this means if you're in a relationship, how to evaluate the compatibility with your current partner. And if you're single, how to manifest the perfect boyfriend or girlfriend.
This is what you did by understanding. Well, the first step is, yes, we outlined these as a way of giving ourselves perspective, so we had a little bit of foundation. Annabella, you used the first step as a way of understanding yourself to manifest the perfect person in your life.
Yes, that is correct. My own version of the perfect person by describing with specificity what I wanted in a relationship. However, in order to do that, you really have to do some self-introspection and self-analysis of your birth chart and Ayurvedic profile. In other words, it's getting to know yourself and what your needs are.
In our next step, we use the moon and Venus. We want to understand two things, very important. We want to understand how we receive love and how we give love. The reason why is if our partner doesn't know this, they could become somewhat offended. We'll explain in just a minute, as Annabelle will give us an example of what it's like to give the love that you so sincerely feel, but maybe your partner doesn't understand it. All right, so the first thing is the moon. The moon represents our innermost desires. It's that beautiful celestial object out in the sky. It represents everything we want. Well, in astrology and in love and romance, the moon represents what we want in a partner and what we want to receive from the people around us that we love so much. As an example, my moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarian people, they are aggressive and fiery. So my moon being in Sag, I dream of people who are aggressive and fiery. I would do well with people who have a fiery element and want to have a lot of activity, like people born with a sun or rising, or maybe Venus, or Mars, or North Node in a fire sign like Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius.
Yes.
Your moon, where is your moon?
Well, my moon is in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and I dream of a partner where I can share metaphysics and healing. I want to talk about Venus. Oh, very important. In our model, we call the moon the love receptivity, the love receptivity language. The love delivery language, it is represented by Venus, the Roman goddess of love, beauty, prosperity, sex, fertility. I want to give you an example because it's my own personal experience. I have Venus in the sign of Virgo. What this means is that we deliver love by being very meticulous and very detail-oriented, and we have a tendency for perfectionism. So why is this important? To understand how you deliver love, and for your partner to understand also, because, for example, of Venus in Virgo, it can be taken as a criticism. That was unfortunately my experience when I didn't know myself, and of course my partner had no clue of my love delivery language.
So basically you were giving love like a meticulous Virgo.
Absolutely.
Even though you're born under the sun sign of Libra, your love delivery system was in Virgo, which was all about tying his tie, making his eyebrows perfect. And if you don't understand this about your partner, you take personal offense to it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so in our two steps, the first one is knowing yourself, and then the love receptivity and the love delivery language of the moon and Venus. We had an example that we used in our last lecture about knowing yourself. We have a client that we meet with each week. She was having major problems in her romantic life. She we looked at her astrological chart and we wanted her to understand some things about herself. Number one, she had Mercury in Virgo. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
correct.
correct.
So the way Mercury represents the way your brain works. And so she works in a very detail-oriented way. You just reminded me by your Venus being in Virgo, but her Mercury being in Virgo has to do with how her brain processes information in a very meticulous way. She also had a moon in Scorpio. Scorpio is the sign of mysticism, also very specific and detail-oriented, but it's a deep, deep, deep sign. Deep emotions, deep specifics in intellectualism. Now, this girl had a tendency and a propensity to choose men who were more caught up in their physical appearance, so-called pretty boys, as we call them. And Annabella, in our lecture, you always say, are these two signs of what she's looking for in a relationship? Intellectualism and mysticism, traits that we commonly find with pretty boys.
Well,
Not very often.
Right. So this particular client, she believed that she valued physical appearance over intellect, but her essence was more about intellectual stimulation.
Right.
This is the reason why her relationships were always short-lived.
Okay, in step 3, we look at Jupiter and North Node. We're not going to go into them tonight because we just want to spend a couple of minutes on Ayurveda. If you come to our lectures or if you sign on to our YouTube channel and become a follower, we're going to do a couple of things for these folks, right?
Yes, we're going to send you an ebook, which is going to be a condensed form of the book that we're finishing up writing, that it has to do with the 12 astrological love languages.
Right. Okay, last step is Ayurveda. Ayurveda, it's said, is the oldest form of healing and lifestyle alteration on the planet. It was written by the ancient Vedics 5,000 to 10,000 years ago. For those of you who know your history, 5,000 to 10,000 years ago predates almost all actual historical evidence. It's written in a language called Sanskrit, and it was written by the yogis and Vedics who were in a much higher vibration and a much more intuitive vibration at the time this was all correlated. So it has great accuracy. I often say this in our workshops. I'm a physician. I've been in practice 28 years. I went to school for 9 years and 22 years of continuing education. I get more information from doing a person's birth chart and doing their Ayurvedic profile than I do from all those clinical years with clinical analysis. Now, in Ayurveda, we look at 3 basic energy forms. What are those energy forms?
Yes, it's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. Very quickly, Pitta is the aggressive, fiery type A personality, is the multitasking one. It is ruled by fire. Vata is the etheric, metaphysics, enthusiastic one, very creative, and is ruled by air and ether. And Kapha is the slower pace, very, very patient, and very loving and kind, and is ruled by the element of earth.
That's right. So basically, the way we're going to correlate astrology and Ayurveda is we're going to see when a client comes to us with either a health complaint or wanting to work on their relationships, we look at their chart, and then we see how they're manifesting their chart on an Ayurvedic level, hour to hour, day to day, week to week, year to year. So as a quick example, we talked about Moon in Sagittarius. I desire and have a strong Pitta, aggressive type A, fiery personality because of my Moon energy is so powerful. We want to have somebody who can not only support that, but in other areas be able to balance it and put the fire out at times. So this is how we use Ayurveda. We examine all aspects of our lives, mostly diet, but also activities and everything else in your life. Colors you choose, the relationships you have. They're all key.
That's right. In relationships, we look at what area of your relationship it is out of balance.
Right. So thank you for joining us tonight. We're so excited to be able to present these videos to you on YouTube. They're so informative and they're really transformative for the wave of the future for ways to conduct the best healthy lifestyle and romantic relationships and career and life purpose. Just a quick reminder, our website is www.askdrscott and Annabella. You can look on there to see our upcoming workshops. .com, right, www.askdrscott and Annabella. Annabella is ANABELLA. So that's www.askdrscott with 2 T's and Annabella.com. One word. Thanks again for being with us tonight. We look forward to the next video with y'all.